It's 10 o'clock and it's time for the council to be in session. Ms. Mistakowski is here. We have 2 members present. We need 8 more for a quorum. It is 20 minutes after 10, and we have Mr. Alatorre, Mrs. Chick, Mr. Fuhr, Mr. Holden, Ms. Misakowski, Mrs. Walters. We have 7 members present. We need 3 more for a quorum. Let's see how many. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Call the roll.
Could we have some attention in the council chamber? We're expecting a quorum in a few minutes, and we're just going to start some presentations. So let me just point out that this will be a meeting of the City Council on the 8th day of January 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So, Mayor, did you have a presentation you wanted to make at this time?
He's shaking hands right now.
Yeah, he's taking pictures and shaking hands and drinking coffee. Mayor, I want to point out that this is the council chamber, not the mayor's chamber, and we are letting you make a presentation today. We're graciously letting you make the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for giving me the respect I deserve. But before I go on to the presentations, I'm going to have to leave in about 10 minutes, but you're going to make a presentation to some of the most wonderful men in the world, the LAPD SWAT team, who have just won an award as the best SWAT team in the world, and I join you in it. But I'm here today to pay tribute with the City Council and the people of Los Angeles to over 25,000 Angelenos who have given themselves in the AIDS Walk to help people in need. AIDS is a terrible disease. It's one that takes too many lives, particularly young lives, at a tremendous cost to families, a tremendous cost to society. And I'm so proud of what the City of LA Walkers did. We came in 5th out of hundreds of groups in raising money for the AIDS Walk, but I'm also proud of everybody who walked that day, because they're people who know that the secret of happiness in life is giving. They're people that care about others. They care particularly about people who desperately need our help. So at this time, I'd like to ask Craig Thompson, who is the leader of AIDS Project Los Angeles, APL LA, to come up here, say a few remarks, and join me in making presentations to the groups who raise the most money on the AIDS Walk. Craig?
Thank you. I'm here today as a proxy, as a replacement for the over 7,500 women, men, and children who receive services every year from AIDS Project Los Angeles. Services like dental care, food, transportation, housing assistance, essential necessary services for anyone, but particularly for a person living with AIDS. I wish I could have brought those 7,500 people here today to thank these people, because without our volunteers, without our donors, we couldn't do this incredibly important work. So with that, I'd like to present first the awards for volunteers, a remarkable group of people who gave their time and their hearts to make sure that this year's walk was once again a tremendous success. I'm going to call them in alphabetical order, and if they'd please come up. Elizabeth Burson, Pearl Frankel, Reggie Gully, John McGraw, Larry Rangel, and Tony Sarzinski, our volunteers of the year.
Good. Hi, Reggie. Congratulations. Thanks. Hi, Larry. Tony.
Picture time. We'd also like to honor this year's top fundraisers, whose devotion to the cause has truly been an inspiration to us all. The first award goes to Ed Evans, a longtime APLA supporter who raised over $15,000. Mr. Evans.
Congratulations, that's terrific.
This year's Top Walker Award goes to an amazing woman, a woman who's been doing the walk for over 6 years, and this year set an AIDS walk record by raising over $56,000. Ms. Cynthia Park. The final group of awards are being presented to the top fundraising teams. Increasingly, the walk and the revenue raised from the walk is coming from teams of Los Angelinos who band together through affinity groups, their employers, their churches, their schools, their synagogues, and raise money as a group for the walk. The first award is being presented to the top youth team, Kids Who Care. This is an amazing group who's been participating in the walk now as long as I can remember and have raised an extraordinary amount of money. This year, these kids raised over $28,000 for the walk. Accepting the award are team leaders and founding members Leo Beckerman, Sam Beckerman, Alex Perliter, Willie Perliter, Joanna Kabat, Michael Janal, Nico Juber, and Teddy Seidman. These are the group that we see as in training to be wonderful corporate citizens who are already wonderful corporate citizens at the ripe old age of 7.
Great job, kids. Thank you.
The next award is being presented to the top family and friends team, the In Memory of Clay Howell team. They raised nearly $18,000 this year, walking in the memory of Clay Howell. Accepting the award are Mark Howell and Susan Edelist. Actually, there's a couple extras in here. Yeah. Come on, kid. Our next award goes to the top small business team. This is a group that has been raising money for the walk, again, as long as I can remember. Salon Paul Florent, which raised over $15,000 for this year's AIDS walk. Accepting the award is team leader Paul McKay.
Every year.
Yeah. Right. He's got a whole shelf of these. We're now going to give awards to the top 5 teams for fundraising. And as the mayor mentioned, the 5th placed fundraising team were the City of Los Angeles employees who raised almost $43,000 for this year's AIDS walk. I'd like to present this award to the mayor, who heads the team every year and also is a very generous contributor to both the AIDS Walk and AIDS Project Los Angeles. Oh, great. Thank you. The 4th place team is being presented to Team Warner, a coalition of companies including Warner Brothers Studio, Warner Reprise Records, and Warner Chappell Records. This year they raised $45,000. Accepting the award are Ernie Enriquez, Cheryl Fries, Michael Fuski, and John Donahue. The 3rd place fundraisers are the employees of the County of Los Angeles. And every year we have a great competition for the AIDS Walk between the city employees and the county employees. And this year the county employees nudged out the city employees by raising almost $60,000. Accepting the award this year are Craig Hirakawa, Carol Williams, Quentin O'Brien, and Liz Young, County of Los Angeles. The second place fundraising team is another team that's been involved with the AIDS Walk and with the AIDS Project Los Angeles from the very beginning, the Disney Volunteers. This year, the Disney Volunteers raised almost $70,000 for AIDS Walk Los Angeles. Accepting the award is team leader Jay Bradshaw. Note the subtle corporate marketing with the tie. The first place fundraising team is another longtime supporter of AIDS Project Los Angeles, DreamWorks. DreamWorks raised almost $92,000 this year for the AIDS Walk and for AIDS Project Los Angeles. Accepting the award this year is team leader Jonine Malinoff and top fundraising walker again, Cynthia Park. Once again, we'd like to thank all of these people and the other 25,980 walkers who walked this year and made AIDS Project Los Angeles fundraising goal in the AIDS Walk such a success. Thank you.
John?
Mr. Alatorre?
Could I have, what I'd like to do is I'd like to hire Ms. Parks to be the head of my fundraising activity for my re-election.
The city attorney.
Congratulations. You all did a fabulous job for a tremendous, tremendous cause. Thank you.
Yeah. Mrs. Chick for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would now like to invite Officers Steve Gordon, Michael Odell, Mark Akiyoshi, William Casey, Lee McMillian, Wilson Wong, Ken Pickert, Douglas Reed, and George Ryan to join me around the podium, please. Colleagues, we have some very special individuals standing before you. You know, I'm very aware that the outside world, internationally as well as nationally, watches our Los Angeles Police Department and tries to adopt and emulate and copy a lot of the innovative and outstanding and expert things that our LAPD has accomplished. We have some outstanding members of our SWAT team before us, Special Weapons and Tactics Team. I so know you all by SWAT that I had not paused to ask myself what that means. Special Weapons and Tactics Team. A month and a half ago, these gentlemen, actually 7 officers and a sergeant, but the team is 8 officers and a sergeant, and one of their wives happened to have picked that time to have a baby, and good husband as well as good officer that he is, he was home with the new baby and the wife. Our team of 8 went. And they participated in what is known as the International Tactical Olympics, the international SWAT team competition in Orlando, Florida, where teams from the continents of Asia, Europe, and North America compete. Our team ultimately gained an outstanding 339 points out of a possible 345 to obviously capture first place in this overall competition. On behalf of the City Council and the residents of Los Angeles, I want to take this time to thank all of you for your exemplary leadership, for your hard work, for your accomplishments, for doing your part every day, but also in this special way to make our city look good, to make it safer and a better place to live and work. You are all to be commended and congratulated, and I'm looking to have you back here again this next year. I think we're on a roll on this international competition, but in and of itself, this is an outstanding contribution and accomplishment. I do want to call you up for your resolutions from the council, and then Sergeant, if you want to say a few words. I know also Chief Pomeroy is present. If he wants to come to the mic, I invite you both. Sergeant Douglas Reed. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it was the leader of the group, Steve Gordon. Michael Odell. Am I saying it right? Yeah, that's right. He's the veteran member of the team. Mark Akiyoshi. William Casey. Lee McMillian. Wilson Wong. Ken Pickart. And George Ryan. Did you want to say something? Chief, please. You've got to be very proud, too.
I am very proud. Having the world's first and now publicly acclaimed best SWAT team is a source of great pride and inspiration for the Los Angeles Police Department. We've recently won an award for the best dressed police department, and as you look at these fine officers behind me, I would claim that we're the fittest police department in the world as well. We are grateful to Councilmember Chick and to the entire council for honoring our officers this way. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Mrs. Chick. Call the roll.
Alatorre, Bernson, Chick, Fier, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley, Thomas, Svornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, we do have a quorum, and we're losing all of our audience. We already pointed out that this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles. So the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Wax moves, Mrs. Walters seconds. There's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
There's no objections, unanimous vote. Item 1, we're going to hold on the desk. The items to be, are there any items to be continued?
No, Mr. President.
We are going to continue item 6, and I know there's some people that are here that want to be heard, and we'll let them be heard, but item 6 will be continued. I want you to know that. Okay, item number 2 is...
Item number 2 is a report by the CLA and CAO Ad Hoc Committee on Capital Improvement Report to be submitted.
Item number 2. Is there anybody in the audience who wants to be heard on item number 2? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any discussion on 2?
Mr. President, can we call number 2 special? I think it has some relationship to number 1 also.
Okay, sure. 2 special. Next item.
Item number 3, Mr. President, is a transmittal from the city attorney relative to ballot resolutions for California Science Center Natural History Museum.
Is there any discussion on item number 3? Anybody want to be heard, first of all? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Anybody want to be heard on item 3? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Next item.
Next item, items 4 through 7, items for which public hearings have not been held.
That have not been held?
Have not been held.
Okay, but
Item 4 is
4 is an ordinance and 7 is
and
an
7
ordinance.
also.
Is there anybody want to be heard on item 5?
Yeah.
Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on 5?
John, can we have a special, please?
Special? Okay. Item 6, we'll call that in a minute because we have people want to be heard. The next item?
Next item, item number 8, it's a motion that was continued from Tuesday.
Is there any who wanted to continue? Mr. Ridley Thomas, did you want to, 8, did you want to continue that? If anybody want to be heard on 8? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item?
Next item, Mr. President, number 1 is...
No, we'll go back to 6. Is the city attorney here on item 6?
Mr. President, there isn't a city attorney present, but the housing department representative is here. And I understand he knows the city position on this matter.
Again, let me point out to those who want to be heard that this is going to be continued 30 days. So those in favor of the proposal to put it under the REAP program, who wants to be heard first? What is your name and...
Good morning.
I'll go.
Hi, I'm Marianne Whittlesberger. I am a tenant of 1710 Camino Palmero. With me today are fellow tenants. We have 16 in all, and members of the Camino Tenants Committee. Many tenants wanted to be here today who are in full support of us, but they are working or out of town. We would like you to place our building into the REAP program because we have dangerous, life-threatening conditions which exist in our building. We have had 2 fires in the electrical boxes on July 24th and September 30th. These boxes still pose a danger. We had an independent licensed electrical contractor look at these boxes. We have him here today. His name is Michael Schernick, and I would like him to speak briefly and give us his opinion on those condition of the boxes. Michael?
Thank you. I've submitted a 3-page letter explaining the analysis of the system. I was inspired by the presence of the police today. It reminded me of the militaristic enforcement in Santa Monica and Beverly Hills regarding people's safety, which does not exist in Los Angeles. There are rusted-out conduits in this system. There is no toleration at any level of any authority in the electrical business to compromise that. I've walked through the audience. I haven't seen one person worthy of being expendable by electrocution, and yet the city has glossed this over.
Thank you, Michael. Besides the fire, we have other problems in the building. The city signed off our building on December 21st, 1998, before the cited work was completed. Here are the items on Inspector Hofstede's original notice to comply, which still have not been repaired. The leak over the electrical panel where the fires occurred. As you can see in the pictures, leak in the parking structure, which is leaked onto people and cars. Balconies with structural damage, apartments 2, 4, 19, 20, 25, and 27. Dielectric couplings that are not repaired. Faulty plumbing in the garage. You can see the pipes have clamps on them and Scotch tape holding the pipes together. Planters that leak water into the parking structure below onto cars and people. And the pool deck has an uneven surface which holds water in large puddles, creating a slipping hazard. Now, these are just the common areas. We have many other problems that exist in individual apartments. Infestation of roaches and termites, unsafe balconies, plumbing problems, ripped carpeting, which is a tripping hazard, just to name a few. All of these problems were originally cited on Inspector Hofstede's original notice to comply on August 5th, 1998, and still have not been corrected. The city acted improperly by signing our building off before all of the work was completed. Therefore, with this evidence presented, we would like the City Council to include our building into the REAP program. We have a couple other people who would like to say a few words.
I'd like to ask the tenants, my name is Steve Bauer, I live at 1710 Camino Palmero. Has any work been done in the building, in the electrical boxes? In other words, do you still fear for your lives? How many people right here fear for their lives every day when we wake up in this building? All right, hands down. I think that says a lot.
My name is Patricia Wiley. I've lived in this building for a little over 12 years. I have to tell you, I started 4.5 years ago trying to get some safety measures put into our building. I have gone through every city agency there is. We have been lied to, told it was being done, told we had a case coming up in the city court. None of it was true. We are a very cohesive group. We are doing things all by the book. I wake up every morning and I'm afraid for my life because of these 2 fires. The inspectors never, even when they were ordered in a hearing by Sally Ann Malloy to let us know when they were coming, have let us know when they were coming. We call them the morning when they are supposed to be there. They refuse. They cannot get into our apartments to see if there is a danger if we are not there. The manager tells them it has been done. Well, if that were the case, we wouldn't need inspectors at all, would we? I am so tired. I have gotten such an education in the last 4.5 years. I'm sorry if I'm emotional about this, but we are a middle-class group paying rather high rents. I shudder to think what is happening to people downtown who do not have our advantages, who are not articulate. It is criminal, it is shameful, and everybody seems to shove us off. Well, you know, I'll tell you, we may be middle class, but we burn just as fast as everybody else does if there's a fire.
Yes.
Would you give me your name, please?
My name is Patricia Wiley. I'm just tired. It's time we took something serious. I know everybody's got stuff to do around here, but this is happening to thousands of people, and maybe it's time we woke up. And maybe it's time everybody woke up. There are people during this cold spell who had no heat. You know what an inspector told me when I called? He said, you know, sometimes these people bust out things because they want to pay less rent. You can't tell me anybody wants to live in a cold, cold apartment, that anybody wants to live with kids without electricity, without heat. If it happens to us, my friends, it is happening all over. And I would like to see someone take some action and some responsibility and stand up and say this has to stop.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, who else?
My name is Whit Hayden. I live in the building. I've been there for more than 4 years. Several things that really bother us is one of the ways the inspectors come, they don't notify us of the inspections. We have showed them pictures and photographs of deteriorated piping and wood conditions under the building where we have sewage smells coming out, and we've gone under there ourselves and taken pictures. The inspectors would not go under themselves. They didn't go and look. They took our pictures and did nothing about the problems down there, and we think they should have gone on and inspected them themselves if they didn't believe us. They wouldn't accept our word for things. They did not investigate the lack of permits for much of the work that was done under their orders, and we think done unsafely. We told them that there weren't permits, and they didn't seem to care. They told us that wasn't their job. That was something to do with building and safety. We said we went to building and safety, and building and safety told us that we would have to make our complaints through the housing department because they're the ones that handle the complaints now. So we're caught in between. We don't know where to go. We say these are serious problems. Work's being done without permits. It's being done incorrectly, illegally, and we have no way to go to make sure it's being done right.
You, in the future, just call your councilman.
Oh, okay.
I happen to be your councilman. Call
Yes,
my
sir.
office and we'll help you.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate the help that your office has given us in the past. We also don't like the idea that work was signed off before it was actually finished. And also, the inspectors held a lot of secret meetings with the management without allowing tenants to be present. We feel this doesn't look right. It makes us, especially when we're told that they've got till January 7th to finish all this work, and then that same day, after a half-an-hour meeting with the management, they sign our building off. It's just, our concerns are many and varied. I don't want to take up too much time, but that's our problem.
Thank you.
And
our apartment
we-
with permission.
Well, let somebody else speak to that. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else that wants to be heard? I think we got your message.
One thing that is of grave concern, they have been entering our apartments illegally and leaving workmen unattended, then going, by the way, all of this is documented and can be proved.
Okay, thank you.
And leaving the apartment doors wide open for anyone to walk in and take whatever they want or be there when we come home.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Ferraro.
Your name, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Jeff Higley. I live in the adjacent building. There's two 30-unit buildings. I live in the adjacent building, also owned by the same landlords, who have the same policies, same management, and demonstrate the same negligence that is present in the building that these people are referring to. The only difference is the confluence of factors that have brought these people into being united, which you probably could acknowledge is fairly unique, doesn't exist in my building. Most people in my building leave. Like probably most buildings, people leave when they're harassed or experience this kind of negligence or the treatment. I'm a registered process server. I've tried to contribute to this fight in my own way. At this point, there are at least 8 outstanding small claims actions as well as other legal actions being taken against the landlords, both on behalf of tenants as well as contractors who have done work over a period of time and not been paid. My concern is that there are landlords like these who are a menace to their community, to our community, to tenants who move in and are harassed and or not paid back their security deposits timely and are forced to go through all kinds of maneuvers to get that back if they do. Also, contractors who in good faith step forward to do work and then aren't paid, or are paid in a very slow period of time to the point where they're forced to seek redress through the courts or other agencies. Many people just let it slide. Many contractors or many tenants let it slide because they don't know how to get to this point, or they don't even know how to go to small claims court. So overall, I guess my concern is the process for us to even get here or to navigate through the city agencies seems incredibly onerous and non-responsive to the point that we have frustration, and these are all very intelligent, talented people. What is happening to those people who are less fortunate or less resourceful than us? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I think we got your point.
Okay.
And we will do, but there is one person, an attorney that represents the owner apparently, Jeffrey Unger. We're going to have him speak. You can stand down and, but don't leave yet because we're not finished with this.
Okay.
And all those who made cards, we will make that part of the file. We thank you for coming. Mr. Unger?
Thank you, Mr. President, councilmen, council people.
Just talk into the microphone. Pull it closer to you, please. Okay.
Very briefly, I'm going to explain a little bit of the background regarding the ownership of the property, the events that led to some disrepairs regarding the property, how those repairs have been made, and now what I think will be of particular interest to the council are the steps that we are taking to ensure that these types of events don't arise again over time. This property has been owned by Marvin Kim Traegerman for more than 3 decades. It has served as the home of many notable tenants, and for time it has served as even the home of the family members of the Traegermans. Some time ago, Mr. Traegerman became ill, about 5 years ago. And at that time, the Traegermans allowed the building to begin to maintain itself. Since that time, repairs have been made by the Traegermans. They have spent more than $60,000 repairing the property since August '98. And the day before Christmas, in fact, the City of Los Angeles Housing Department did in fact sign off that those repairs have been made. The on-site manager, Monette Chiarello, is here to explain the repairs if there are questions about them. But in fact, the leaks, the fires, and all of the other issues that the tenants so thoughtfully brought to your attention have been repaired and signed off. I'm holding here, for example, the approval from the city electrical inspector, Mr. England, approving the electrical as of December 8, 1998. But now, I'm going to explain some of the things that we're doing to ensure that these things don't occur over time. We hired a real estate consultant very recently who advised, among other things, that the Traegermans needed a source of financing in order to draw against in the event that the repairs of the property are necessary and the cash flow is insufficient to make those repairs. Last night at my home, I spoke with the president of the lender who's prepared to make a line of credit available to the Traegermans for those purposes, which we expect will be completed within the next week to 3 weeks. An escrow has been opened. I have a preliminary title report, and we are now just waiting for loan documents to enable the Traegermans to do the things that they've been doing above and beyond what the city has requested, such as pulling permits for making additional improvements that will add to the splendor of the property. Before us today, the issue is the council has to make a finding to bring this property into the REAP program that the landlord has refused or consistently failed to correct deficiencies. This is a history of cooperation. The owner of the building is here. $60,000 has been spent. A credit vehicle has been obtained. it is impossible for this council to make the determination that the landlord has refused or consistently failed to correct deficiencies. The council must also make the determination that the building contains one or more untenable units. Well, in fact, the Code Section 15202 describes some of those untenable conditions, which are fundamental conditions that relate to the shelter, the running water, waterproofing, exposure to the elements of the property, none of which exist, and all of which have been signed off by the City of Los Angeles. I'd like the on-site manager, Monette Chiarello, to describe some of the repairs that have been made.
No, I think there has been some progress made, but by the same token, we're going to continue this for 30 days. I do want to have the department come up forward and is there anybody here from the Housing Department? Would you come forward, please? Thank you, Mr. Unger.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, you heard the complaints of the tenants, and you heard the remarks by the landlord, a representative of the landlord. Can you shed some light on this?
Sure.
There seems to be some strong feelings on both sides.
My name is Shari Dahimi. I'm the manager for the REAP program, and with me are other individuals from the Housing Department, from the Code Enforcement Section. We have also from Building and Safety the Chief Electrical Inspector, who would like to provide some information with respect to the main concern of the tenants, which is the fire hazard potential.
My name is Robert England. I'm the Chief Electrical Inspector for the city. I had been informed about this job by my district inspector, who had went out there on approximately October 14th in regards to some type of fire or electrical problem with the main electrical service system. At that time, there had been a permit obtained in which to change out a main electrical service panel, including an 18-metered section. My inspector at that time examined it and found that only 3 of the meters had been damaged. As far as what had exactly damaged the meters, it was unclear. There was evidence of some leaking water, and there is a pool directly above. The contractor that had obtained that original permit for the 18 meters was informed that only a singular permit for a 3-meter change would be required. A new contractor came in, not the same one, obtained a new permit just to replace the 3 units that needed repairing. The repairs were completed, the inspection was completed, the rest of the service equipment had been examined. And I think some of their problems is because of the age of the service equipment. The tenants in that are looking at this thinking that it is a hazard. All of it was cleared by my people. I myself was present on the job. I was called by the manager of the apartments with regards to her thinking that someone may have been sprayed water or something in that sense onto the new service section. I did go out to the job myself personally. I took a look at the service equipment. I did a minor inspection on it, going through any possible water damage, anything of that nature. Everything was cleared. I went ahead and gave an approval sticker to the manager, which the attorney has presented a little bit earlier here. But as far as the main service equipment, the swimming pool lighting, which also there's been a permit obtained for, or anything in that regards, that has all been cleared, and it meets all the requirements of the California State Electrical Code.
Okay, did you want to say anything, or?
No.
We're going to move that we continue this for 30 days. Mr. Wax wants to be heard, but I want you people to be working with that building and the tenants to make sure that they're satisfied within the 30 days. So you've heard the complaints. These people have a right to be concerned. So, Mr. Wax, did you want to be heard?
Just briefly, Mr. President, obviously I don't know the condition of the building myself because I've never been there. Although I must say to the lawyer who spoke, I don't think I've ever heard of a building maintaining itself before. That was an interesting, that was a very interesting term. But what I did want to say is to commend the residents for organizing. And in fact, the gentleman from the building next door contrasting one building that organized versus another that left. The fact is, we do have a lot of laws in the city, but they haven't come easily. And one of the reasons they haven't come easily is because people in some parts of town think it's only a problem in other parts of the town and haven't, in fact, been involved in the way that you've become involved. And many times we've had a tough time getting through some of the laws we need because we haven't had the support of a broad-based coalition around the city. Your involvement in this rightfully points out that this is a problem that affects people all over the city. And that kind of involvement is the thing that most helps us overcoming the lobbying pressure and obstacles of getting laws passed. So I wanted to commend you for involving yourself in this way, and hopefully this can be an example for other tenants groups to not leave, but to stay and to fight. Because in the end, when you fight, you not only fight for yourself, but you're fighting for others who may need it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wax, you move a 30-day continuance. There's no objections, unanimous vote. Again, thank you for coming today. We appreciate. Okay, the next item.
Next item, Mr. President, item number 5, called special by Councilmember Fuhr.
Mr. Fuhr? No.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mr. President. On item 5, can we have the staff members from various departments who are here come to the tables, please? As they're coming, let me proceed. Colleagues, back in July, concerned about the possibility that we still may have lead-based paint in recreation and park facilities and playgrounds, I introduced a motion seeking a comprehensive report from, I think we have Environmental Affairs, please come forward as well. We may have others from personnel also. Asking for a comprehensive report as to what, if any, lead remains in city rec and park facilities. This, just a few weeks ago, the outcome of that report became available, and I conducted a hearing during a very quiet period because that was when the report first came out. In fact, we got the report the day of the hearing. If I could have a little bit of quiet, please, on this. The results of the report are like this. The rec and parks facilities in which young children are most likely to be present, those facilities being targeted because young kids are those most susceptible to lead poisoning and its after effects. Number 128. Of those facilities, Recreation and Parks conducted a visual survey to determine those which were most likely to cause a hazard based on the age of the buildings. Lead paint was outlawed in 1978. And the condition of the buildings. The result of that survey was 6 facilities at which there was considered to be a significant enough hazard to warrant an A being the worst facilities, D being probably the best facilities. We then got the Department of Health Services, Recreation and Parks working closely together, and at those 6 facilities, the details of which they can give you, there were findings of specific areas, and the report before you identifies those areas in which a lead hazard was likely to be present because of the readings that were taken. And there has been subsequent abatement conducted at those sites. There's one site, Travel Town, which has the most pervasive problem at which abatement has not yet been undertaken, although cordoning off of potentially dangerous engines has been undertaken. So that's where we were when the report was produced, when the hearing was conducted, and the report, of course, is based on the hearing. Since that time, however, there has been extensive other work done. For one thing, the department is going to be presenting to my committee on the 13th a report about how they're going to go about focusing on the remaining 120 or so facilities to assure that there are no hazards to our kids. There will be trainings conducted of city recreation and park staff, both maintenance workers and child care workers, because among the facilities in which there was found to be a significant, a potential lead hazard, were child care facilities in districts from the Valley to the South Bay, a part of our city. So with that in mind, in addition to the abatement work and the ongoing survey work that's being conducted, in addition to the training work that will be underway for our maintenance staff and our child care workers in the city, in addition to notification of parents whose kids attend these sites, as to what issues might exist and what kind of hygiene issues they should be attending to for their young kids, we have a report before you. And I must say there has been extensive cooperation among Rec and Parks, Environmental Affairs, personnel, and the county's Department of Health Services, for which parents and children throughout the city of Los Angeles should be very grateful. I think we're on the right track. I'd like to ask if there are additional specifics that any member of this team before us would like to share, because I know our colleagues are concerned about this issue because our constituents are concerned that their kids not be exposed to a health hazard from lead.
Sure.
Are there any details you want to add or not?
Anybody want to be heard?
I would just want to comment that not only does the staff of the department take this issue seriously, our commission is also on record as wanting information and did receive it at our commission meeting this past Wednesday. The department has been quite diligent in finding out the ramifications of this issue, and I echo Councilmember Fuhr's concerns, and I think his comments are right on. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. President, members of the council, Councilman Alatorre asked what's on the table right now. And one, I wanted to say that Councilmember Fuhr has to be commended on this particular issue. It was brought to his attention, and he took a lot of action. I'm not willing to say the same thing for the Department of Recreation and Parks. I have a concern when these kinds of issues happen in my district. And what members of the council you should be aware is Councilmember Fuhr called me and shared with me the issue and made me aware of the instructions he gave the department, which also included contacting each council member and making them aware of the issue and what they were doing to remediate it and how they were going to do it. Now, I know we have an interim director of the department, but I think it's important that we all become aware that, from my perspective, this department thought a phone call to my office to the general number, leaving a message on our number, was letting us know. They also claimed to have written a letter to us. Now, to Councilman Fuhr, this was an important issue, and he took the time to call me personally and talk to me about it. And I agree of the importance of the issue. And because of that, I was tracking this issue, and I wanted to know what was going on in Echo Park. But I need to share with everybody that it wasn't because of the Department of Recs and Parks that I was aware of this issue. And to me, that is a major concern as a council member who represents people in an area where children were exposed to lead-based paint at one of my centers. And so I just wanted to bring that out because I think Councilman Fuhr deserves a lot of credit for the work and the fact that he was on top of the department, and I'm asking the department to be much more responsive to my office at least. I don't know what the rest of your experience has been, but that was real bothersome to me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. And Mr. Fuhr called me on the Travel Town situation, so I think you're right in complimenting him on. Okay. Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, the action is to note and file. Note and file the fact that the Department of Rec and Parks has a program in place, and they are familiar with the 120-plus sites that may have some lead paint. And it's an indication that sometime, even though it's something that you read or should have read and should be noted, the public will have an interest in this, and that makes it necessary to have a discussion on it, Mr. Fuhr. This could happen more than 3 times in the course of a council session if you have searched 60 items. And so, as John, Mr. President would say from time to time, read the report and you don't have to discuss it. So I read the report, and since other people were discussing it, it became necessary to at least make that point, that the Rec and Parks Department is on their job. And if you want to make an issue out of this, go right ahead.
No one else wants to be heard, so the file will be received and filed.
We'll have more information about the file.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item. Yeah.
Item number 1, called
Yeah.
special.
Did we do 7? I know.
We haven't done it.
Okay, let's do 7, and it's an ordinance, and 4. 4 and 7 before us. Any discussion on those? If not, prepare the roll on the ordinances and the file. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, that is approved. Now, item number 1, Mr. Deaton, Mr.
Mr. President, members of the City Council, what you have before you is a recommendation of the Ad Hoc Committee on Capital Improvements and the City Administrative Office, City Engineer, Police, Fire, and Chief Legislative Analyst to put on the April ballot a $744 million public safety bond issue for police and fire facilities. It would include rebuilding Parker Center, or police administration building on the Parker Center site, adjacent to the site, 6 police stations, 4 replacements of existing stations and 2 new stations, 18 fire stations, including a fire station on the Parker Center site as well, an air facility for the fire department, capital improvement for both existing fire and police facilities. This was initially approved in December. There was a list of projects and a $750 million item placeholder, if you will, for a bond issue for the April ballot. The instructions was for our office, the City Administrative Office, City Engineer et al., to go back and review very closely the estatements and to see what we could do relative to making it more cost effective. Essentially what we have done is that these projects plus jail and parking structure totaled in our estimates in December were approximately $890 million. We have been able to reduce that by $60 million by taking a very close look at several aspects of the program. We had all the construction costs reviewed by outside Bovis Corporation. We found that the construction costs were right on relative to roughly 2 to 3% difference in construction cost. Land acquisition costs have remained the same. We have made some changes in some of the voice data information, but primarily we have made reductions in project management and program management. We felt that we could do that and felt comfortable in doing that by changing the whole way we do projects under bond issues relative to the way we've done them in the past. Primarily what we're suggesting is that there be an oversight committee held responsible for the overall program management of the bond that would be composed of the Mayor's office, the City Administrative Office, and my office. Under that oversight committee would be a program management, bringing all the necessary individuals within organizations within the city under a construction management project team, and have them responsible for basically 3 areas of this bond: fire, police, and the special projects being the air facility and the police administration building. We believe by using that kind of a structure, using, if you will, cookie cutter design on fire stations and police stations where there's a standardized design, cutting off the changes after the design phase of the project and going to construction, that we can make significant changes in the way we do business, and that will result in significant cost savings in this bond issue over previous ones. We are all supportive of that approach and believe that we can make significant inroads in the cost of the projects. However, this brings the number down to roughly $840 million. We're suggesting yet another overall $100 million change to the project from the original 890, 60 for cost cuts, another 100 to get it down to 840. Those changes, 730, 740. Those changes relatively are to provide enough money for the design of the jail, however, put the actual construction of the jail in Phase 2 of this, which we consider this the first step in a three-phase project in order to get our police and fire facilities back in shape. So the jail would be done in the second phase. We are suggesting that we, on a Westwood site for a fire station, that we provide enough money. We've added some money for the construction of a two-story fire station on that site if necessary. If we cannot work out an arrangement with UCLA or the Veterans Administration for additional space, that will save us $20 million in land cost. And finally, we're suggesting taking half of the parking structure and postponing that to Phase 2. We believe engineering is involved currently in a parking study for downtown, and that parking study should result in our ability to make enough parking available through the 5 years during this construction, and if we need to, we'll add that on in Phase 2 along with the jail. Accordingly, we're recommending one other additional between December and now we also have approval from FEMA for roughly $11 million on the police administration building, so that was able to reduce that cost by that $11 million, and I think that's the total that brings to you today a $744 million bond issue to make a significant inroad in a three-phase program on police and fire facilities. And we would recommend your approval.
Keith, did you want to say something?
Mr. President, members of council, just briefly, this is based on a comprehensive study by the Fire and Police Department that identified $2 billion in needs. The decision was made not to tackle that large a program, but to cut it into thirds, and this is roughly a third of that program. As Ron mentioned earlier, very briefly, we're recommending in the package there's a list of detailed project management proposals that will maintain costs and get it done on time. We actually piloted that with the convention center. It did work well. That was finished early and under budget. In terms of cost, it's a modest cost to the taxpayer, $31 a year on the average $1,600 property tax bill. The city has debt capacity. This would use about 20% of the city's debt capacity, so it's well within our means to support, and it's a high priority issue.
Okay. Chief, did you want to say something?
Just that we're in total support of the bond program. It provides for us an opportunity to improve response times with the flexibility in the regional station design and to offer throughout the city improved facilities, and as well as concentrate on our communication center downtown here, which will deal not only with our dispatch but with the emergency operations center also. So it gives us the infrastructure that we need to continue to make progress in improving the response times throughout the entire city.
The police department is fully supporting of these projects and believes that they're absolutely vital to providing service to the citizens, and we are fully supportive and very, very optimistic about it.
Okay. Mrs. Chick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to begin by complimenting all of the staff that have been involved in this process. And all of us sitting around this horseshoe know that, in fact, this process of moving towards going to the public and asking them for a very significant sum of money, but asking them in a very responsible and careful way, has been years in the making, beginning back at least 4 years ago with commissioning an in-depth study and look at our public safety facility needs with a particular focus on the police department. I want to commend the departments because, quite frankly, they need more and they want more. But a very strong consensus has been built between the council, the mayor, the police department, and the fire department to do things better and differently. We have learned some hard lessons through, quite frankly, mistakes that the city has made. We have not always been the best manager of projects and the best scrutinizer of how to save taxpayer dollars, but we have become that. Mr. Connor has sent out a memo listing in detail some of the very important changes that are going to be put in place on these projects to limit expensive change orders that cause cost overruns and time overruns. Colleagues, I think this is something that we can look the taxpayers of this city and the voters of this city in the eye on and say the following. There is a clear and pressing need in all of our neighborhoods to either create new, renovate, expand, or simply make repairs on fire stations and police stations that serve our residents and our communities. And there are very urgent demands on redoing our central administration building, which in a sense is starting to crumble around the very ears of our police officers who are doing crime-fighting work in Parker Center. So I am very hopeful that all of us agree on this and that this is going to be a unanimous vote and a concerted effort to educate the public that this is truly needed, beneficial to them, and that every penny is going to be well spent. I want to close with asking for some feedback, I think especially at this point from Mr. Deaton. Last night I was at a neighborhood watch meeting talking about the bond, telling people why it was something to support, and a resident asked me how, in advance of the voter pamphlet going out, could he start to get educated and informed. I'd like to hear that we can coordinate on the city webpage, for instance, with the fire department and the police department's webpage fairly expediently to put a hot topic on the city's webpage and to link, and to then, of course, explore a variety of other ways to exchange factual information with the public.
I think that's it's fine to put the an educational information, factual information on the web page to explain the things that are in fact before the council today, to explain the nature of the changes we're making and the dollar amounts and where the facilities are, etc. My only hesitancy, and that we will not use public funds, obviously, to campaign. I want to make that very clear, but we would put a very factual statement of what we're doing and what we're doing differently than what we have in the past on the web page, and I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, for instance, Mr. Connor's report.
Yes.
Fuhr.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to rise and urge that we give strong, unanimous support to putting this measure before the voters and send the signal that we are unified as a city council around an issue that has drawn unity from so many circles already. These are crucial public safety needs, and not merely said to be so by the police department and by the fire department, nor merely by city staff. Internal experts and outside experts closely scrutinize the proposals before us, and there is a consensus that these are pressing needs. There have been key changes in project oversight, concentrating authority, so we have the ability in mid-project to say no to proposed changes, an ability that has so often not been in place in the past. We should unanimously support this, because in addition to some of the very specific new buildings being built, this will assure capital upgrades in other of our fire and police facilities so that those whom we charge to protect the public safety, our fire and police personnel, will themselves be working in safe conditions. We should support this because while there has formerly been a debate about the number of fire stations to be upgraded, that debate has concluded, and we will have a quarter of the fire stations on a 20-year, four-tiered process addressed in this ballot measure. We should all support this because the costs have been carefully scrutinized and refined, including acquisition costs for new facilities rather than relying on merely replacing old facilities on what could be sites that cannot be built upon. All in all, we have a very carefully formulated plan with broad support, unanimous support. This council should state very loudly and clearly that same degree of unanimity and say to our voters, we are poised to address your most pressing public safety needs and to do so on time and on budget.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
You know, members of the council, first let me start by saying that I also want to be part of the unanimous support of the bond issuance. And I need to share with you that at the crutch of this whole thing is the reality of getting the projects done and getting them done on budget and on time. Now, I need to share with you that in Councilmember Altori's district in 1991, CRA purchased a project called the Ziegler House for about $350,000. And I need you to know that that project is before us next Monday, or next Tuesday, for an amendment to the contract to complete the project. Now, the reasons they gave for the amendment is because initially they had 1 year to do it according to the block grant requirements. But the reasons they couldn't get it done is the city had to recognize this project would require additional time to design and complete because of involved property acquisition of a historic building site, leasing of nearby Recreation and Parks Department parkland, which, by the way, almost took 3 years to get a memorandum of understanding for 6 parking spaces, for conversion to site parking, and funding from 4 sources: FEMA, California State Transportation Commission, Community Development Agency, Community Block Grant Department. Historical consultants authorized to approve architectural engineering designs and state and local agencies with oversight of child care center design. What I want you to know is I've accumulated over $3 million for that project, for a structure that cost $350,000, and 10 years have elapsed. And now we're being asked for another extension of a year to complete the project. I'm bringing it to your attention because we just successfully passed Proposition DD for libraries. And I just talked to the library department about their construction plans of libraries in my district. They said we got 2 sites. One is $1.3 million, another one's $2.6 in Chinatown, and both are under our land acquisition dollars. Now, something tells me they're going to end up spending whatever we set aside on the bond measure for land acquisition. And something tells me that whatever we set aside to build the project is what they're going to spend, and they're going to be looking for more, because it depends on how long it's going to take them to do it. I'm bringing it to your attention it's because it's what's bothersome to me about this whole oversight is I still don't think we've dealt with the problem. We've created another layer of some kind of bureaucracy with some changes. And we constantly ask for changes when we do these bond issuances. What I did not see is an elevation to the oversight committee of the architects who basically are in charge of those changes. And I think that the architect, even though he reports to the engineer, should be part of the oversight committee for project completion. And it's something that I believe has to happen only because every time we've investigated why there's delays, it has to do with the ability of the architects to do the work and the staffing that they have.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. President, I'll press my button again because I have not finished.
Okay. Mr. Holden.
I think that Mr. Hernandez is right on target. It's almost like, let's hurry up and spend some money or make it available to us and then do nothing. I think it was about 10, 11 years ago, the taxpayers were asked to vote for a bond measure that would provide 2 new police divisions, one mid-city and one in the valley, 19 and 20. And then they had some trick language in there and said, we may build these 2 divisions afterwards, because I made all kind of noise as to why that wasn't done. And now you're asking for the money again. The question is, what happened to the other money? You did some other things with it, and you didn't get as much out of it as you should have. I'm also seeing here that some of this money will be used for fire helicopters, operations, and maintenance facilities. Now, I think we had 6 helicopters and 3 failed. I saw on TV where one just dropped out of the sky the other day. Is that correct, Chief?
Yes.
And you only have 3 that's operational now? When all those other people were killed in the helicopters, we gave more money. You came and asked for more money for maintenance. You wanted to perform their own maintenance. You wanted to designate who should be the maintenance personnel for the helicopters to guarantee safety. Everything you asked for, you got. And they're still dropping out of the sky. The fact of the matter is they're not available to give us the service that they're supposed to be. And you're asking for $45.5 million for a jail in this proposal. I was under the impression that we turned all jail operations over to the county. We got out of the jail business. But I see here that At Parker Center, you're having a capacity for 440. You want to increase that to 512 persons. You're saying we need to have this because they won't show up for trial. I mean, don't give me that kind of weak excuse. If you have any idea that they're going to jump bail, then set a high bail or put them in the county jail and they'll be there for trial. What I'm saying to you now is the voters already know. They know they voted for it once, they voted for it twice. I mean, how many times do they have to vote for it to get the darn job done? It's always easy to criticize, and I'm not here doing that because I'm going to support the measures. I'm going to accept the fact that if something went wrong, it went wrong and it was out of your control, and maybe we're not empowered at the time to make it happen. But I must tell you, this is the last chance, and we better take advantage of it. The voters have had it up to here. And when you look at all these measures we put on the ballot in the past 5-6 years that they have voted on because we cried hardship, it's almost as if Proposition 13 never existed in the first place. And they're right back where they were. And we're putting more on the ballot. It's just not the only measure, but more are going to be put on the ballot. And they talk back at you when they say no and they vote them down.
Thank you.
Well, we have to go out there and encourage them to do otherwise. I'm 2 seconds over. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Mr. Savornich.
Intruding on your time.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I would like to rise today in support of putting this bond measure on the ballot. And one of the things that I would like to ask, though, in doing that, just recently this council passed a motion in regards to the Public Oversight Committee. Will that be in place or one be in place for this bond, Mr. Comrie?
That's been recommended in the package that's before you for approval.
Okay. Also, I had heard that this is going to cost a property owner a little bit over $30 per what value amount of assessed property?
$162,000, which is the average house in the books today. Their total bill is about $1,600, so this adds $31 to it.
Okay, so $31 per every $162,000 of assessed property value.
Right.
Where will that information be placed in regards to the ballot or the information presented to the voters, so the voters know that if they vote for this measure, that that's what it's going to cost them more on their tax bill every year? Is that within the ballot statement when
Yes.
they go in the voting booth to vote, or is
Right.
that going to be part of a mailer that they get from the city clerk?
It's right in the ballot book. The election code provides the CAO puts a cost analysis in, and just exactly the way we've just explained it here will be in the ballot book.
So when a person goes into the ballot box, it's going to say proposition or ballot measure, whatever. It will say at the end of where they read what this is for, it will say a yes vote will mean $31 more per $160,000. Because I'd like to be very clear, when a person goes to vote, they know what it's going to cost them.
Yeah, there'll be that section, but another section in the book where it has the impartial analysis. It also has the cost analysis by the CAO. It stands right out as they read their ballot book, and it says this is what it will cost you.
Terrific. My question has been answered, Mr. President.
Mr. Wax.
Well, Mr. President, obviously I'm going to support this because I know that we need it. But Mr. Holden, as he sometimes does, made some very good points. No, seriously, that was a you might get 4 items special because of that. And the truth is, it would be very easy to write the no argument on this if one wanted to or one were disposed to. I wouldn't do that because I want this to pass because the city needs this. But what I would suggest that you do, Mr. Deaton, when you talked about providing information, I wouldn't do it the old-fashioned way of just saying, we have to have this because we need it. I think you have to be much more direct and straightforward to people. I think you have to anticipate what the negative concerns will be and confront them. You ought to put out there some, questions and answers. The questions that the people will ask, why don't we have a new 911 system when the voters approved it, 7 or 8 years ago, and we still haven't done a damn thing to get there? Now, you have to ask that question and then say, and this won't happen on this one because. You have to anticipate that people will say, why don't we have a sixth division in the valley when it was promised in the last one. And then you have to say the answer and why that's different from this. I mean, I think you have to be straightforward and anticipate the legitimate questions that people will have as a result of past failures, and then be able to point out very clearly not only the answer to those questions, but why that will be avoided here, what's done different here to avoid that. And I think that that's necessary. Otherwise, there's still a credibility gap. So I'm really giving you sort of suggestions as to how to handle the legitimate questions that will be raised by people who have felt dissatisfied or cheated by a failure to accomplish what was promised in the past. I think that you're on the road to being able to provide those answers. I mean, this is what we've been talking about, of how to provide a different approach. And it may not be perfect, but we can't chase perfection when the needs of the city's fire and police safety activities are at stake. So, but I just really think that don't do a fluff piece. Do your presentation of the facts in a way that really are honest, that recognize past failures, that show people how exactly you're going to do things differently to avoid them now, and I think people will perceive. If you do it that way, I think people will have a lot more faith in it than if it's just another puff piece. Oh, we've got to have these things. I mean, all of us know we have to have these things, but they want to know that we're really going to get these things, and they have legitimate questions. So I'm just hoping in your approach you will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Wax. Did you want to respond?
My response is that I think that I have no problem with that and think that's very appropriate. Actually, it's been the experience of staff in these last 6 months to a year working on this that council members have had that.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez had a question about the architect. Mr. Deaton?
Pardon me?
Mr. Hernandez had a question about the architect.
The question that I think Mr. Hernandez raised was relative to the structure and the membership on some of the oversight committees. Actually, what the committee action is that we have to return that in a fashion that can be adopted by council within 45 days. And I think that Mr. Hernandez and I can work out those situations by those 45 days.
Ms. Sikowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I was going to wait to speak until item number 2, but because a number of the members of the council have addressed what really item number 2 is about, I thought it would be appropriate to respond to them, in particular to Mr. Wax. And that is the whole question of what do we say to the voters, to Mr. Savornich as well. And item number 2 is a reaction to my motion when we first started considering the bond, essentially to itemize that around the council and around the oversight committee and with the effort that's been being put in, we have learned what was done wrong, and we've heard clear examples of that, but we've learned how to address how we do it right. And if you look specifically at item number 2, which says what shall be given to the public on this information for these bonds, it not only talks about the total of the amount of the bonds, the specific projects, but literally what is the life of the bond, a specific description of each of the projects, the timeline for the completion of each of the projects, the relationship of the measure to the total program for phases in outer years, any kind of caveats that people need to know about, the specific limitations on the funds, the descriptions of an administrative and citizen oversight so that the voters will have some assurance that we're going to be held to these and held accountable, the issue of how much it's going to be for an average single-family house, what the higher and lower tax values will be, all of the kind of information that we want to know, and in fact exactly what I think Ms. Chick was indicating, that the public wants to know now. It's straightforward. It's not just a standard in 160 words saying this is important for the city, improve it, but the kind of detail that any intelligent voter needs to know, we hope would want to know, and will have a kind of factual information there available. It is literally raising the bar for that standard, not only for public information, but for public employees, and in the future, those around the council, to be held accountable to these measures, because that's what's really going to be out there for people to know how we're going to measure ourselves, how we are going to measure each of these projects, and it needs to be part and parcel of how we do all of these projects in the future.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez?
I call for the previous question, Mr.
President. Prepare the roll. Prepare the roll on the previous question. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Now we have item number 1. Is there any objection to include item 2? Item 1 and 2. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
Item is point of order.
12 eyes.
That's approved.
Point of order, Mr. President.
Ms. Goldberg, before you leave, we have to reconsider the two ordinances. We only had 11 here, and we now have 12, so we can. So item
Mr. President,
4
point
and
of order.
4 and 7. Ms. Goldberg moves reconsideration. There's no objections. Now prepare the roll on 4 and 7. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Ms. Goldberg, thank you very much for coming in. We know what kind of pain you're in. Now, Mr. Holden, you have a point of order about Mrs. Goldberg?
No, I never had a point of order about Mrs. Goldberg, Mr.
Okay,
President.
what is your point of order?
I was going to make it, but that's okay.
Okay. Okay, the next item.
This is the time for comments from the public on non-agenda items.
Okay, we have a Leonard Rose Jr. that wants to be heard. Yeah. Before Mr. Rose speaks, let me point out that those who want to write arguments for or against the measures, they should be submitted to me by Tuesday, January 12th on the ballot issues. Okay. Mr. Rose?
Okay. I got a letter shared with you Wednesday, and I like to think about a guide to traffic safety, and I got address here. It's 4204 Glencoe Avenue, Murray Del Rey, California, zip code 90292, and this is about the safety code for DMV, Department of Motor Vehicle, and school, and educate children and people in the police station. I got this at the City Industry Sheriff Station about the safety rules. And there's so many calls, 911 calls, and people on crimes and going on drinking, drunk driving, and where people are breaking the law. Need to educate these people for safety, to talk to school board about this and how to make it safety for school children to feel safe to go across the street, single light and walkway, and need more guards, crossing guard, to make it safe. And every city must have a single check by giving enough time to cross the other side of the street. And somebody need to check these single more often to give people much time to cross. And I'd like to make a little speech here, right here. I'm Leonard Rose. I want to talk to you about the idea we have for making the city a safer place to live. I think the city should have more police officers patrolling the street to keep people safe. The most problem, I think the police should give more tickets for speeder, jaywalking, reckless driver, drunk driver, illegal turn, drinking in public, littering, and loud music. I think the city should have a campaign to educate the people about traffic safety. And this is a very important meeting here. And if they could do this, like Bill Clinton make a speech in the United States for safety of this guide here, this pamphlet here. Thank you.
Mr. Rose, we appreciate you being here.
Okay.
Candido Mars, forthwith on item 1 and 2, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And 3.
I just wanted to say something about the $750 million public safety bond measure. It was over 10 years ago, December of 1988. I live up in Porter Ranch, and around 4 o'clock in the morning, we had police officers and fire department people knocking on our doors, letting us know that there was a fire in the hills above us. Well, when we opened the windows and the doors, we could see that the hills were ablaze, and there was nothing finer than seeing Los Angeles policemen and firemen up there in our area trying to stop the fires. And so just what happened last week, last Sunday, we had the same thing happen again. roughly around 11 o'clock on a Sunday, same thing, the hills were ablaze, and those same firemen and those same police officers were up there trying to do everything to save not only my home, but all the homes that were up there. So I feel that even though it's going to cost me $30 per $162,000 of value, that means it's going to cost me close to $100 for my home. Each one of those dollars is worth it, because when you have your home or your public safety is at jeopardy, when you have those officers and when you have those policemen, you need them, and they need to be equipped, and they need to have the finest facilities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else want to be heard? We have no other cards, so the public comment period is closed. Next item.
Motions for posting and referral.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
You have excuses on the desk. Councilmember Brinson requests to be excused Wednesday, January 20th. City business meets council policy.
Unanimous vote.
Councilmember Swornish requests to be excused Wednesday, January 13th. Personal business meets council policy.
Unanimous vote.
That clears the desk, Mr.
All
President.
right. Do we have any adjourning motions? Would everyone please stand? Would everyone in the audience please stand? Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the council to adjourn in memory of William H. Justice, Jr. He was the husband of Marguerite Justice, who was a former police commissioner for the city of Los Angeles. And they're CD9 residents, longtime CD9 residents. His viewing service will be tonight at St. Mark's Methodist Church at 6 p.m. The funeral service and interment will be tomorrow, January 9 at 11 a.m. at the Holy Cross Cemetery.
Mr. Wax?
Two, Mr. President. First, I'd like the council to adjourn in the memory of David Beich of Studio City. He was one of the first persons I met when I first ran for office 28 years ago, and was just deeply involved in a number of activities trying to better the lives of people, and he was just a lifelong activist who did a lot of good, and he finally passed yesterday, and I'll give the clerk the pertinent information. And also Phil Burrell, as you know, we honored Milton Berle on his 90th birthday. Phil is his older brother who died at 97 the other day, and I'll give the clerk the pertinent information.
Mr. Savornich.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I would like to ask the council adjourn in memory of my great-uncle, Eddie Antonio, who passed away just a few days ago. Services were held this morning. He was married to my grandmother's late sister. He was 86 years old, was a commercial fisherman all of his life, survived by his daughter Yvonne and son Edward, many grandchildren, nieces, and nephews.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, I'd like to join in joining in the memory of Mr. William Justice, Jr. He emanated from the aerospace industry, where I met him, and he, like his wife, but not as well known, was very, very active in the community for more than 30 years that I have known him. And certainly he is a man who contributed so much to our community in so many ways, and has come from a great family, in-laws and all, and certainly he's one that we're going to miss, but remember for all that he has done. Also, Mr. President, Mr. Fred Owens, he was a city employee and a mechanical inspector for the city of Los Angeles for 25 years. He was subsequently promoted to senior inspector, and he worked in the 10th district for many years. He was a young man at the age of 53 and just passed away. The services are this Saturday in the Ruston, Louisiana.
Call the roll. All right, the council is adjourned.